having the number one team in the country, Texas, going to Columbus to take on the defending national champions in Ohio State. I mean, week one, the line's been moving, by the way, where Ohio State is now 1.5-point favorites and the total is 47 and a hook. When you look at this matchup, Arch Manning, Julian Sayin, Steve Sarkisian, Ryan Day, which direction are you going in?
I'm going to go with Texas on the money line here. It's time to find out how good Arch Manning is, and this game's really going to set the trajectory for Texas this season. The Longhorns need to win this football game. I think Ohio State's going to be okay if they lose, but I can't say the same thing about Texas. Steve Sarkisian finally has all his guys in the building. There's no excuses left. Sark's not regarded as a James Franklin. He's not regarded as a guy who can't win the big game, but a few more losses in big game, he's on that trajectory because he really hasn't stepped up when the lights are brightest. Both teams lost a ton of production, but the players stepping into the starting roles for Texas, I give them the slight edge in a lot of areas. And the Buckeyes did lose 14 players to the NFL draft, and that's going to be really tough to overcome, especially in week one coming off that national championship. Now, they do have the best two players on the field in Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, but the Longhorns are just slightly better overall, in my opinion. They locked down Jeremiah Smith in the Cotton Bowl. That was unexpected. And I think Texas's defense has the chance to do that once again, especially with a quarterback who's only thrown 5 passes at Ohio State and Julian Sayin. If Arch is the real deal, Texas should win, in my opinion. If he isn't, the edge flips to Ohio State. But I'm just not going to bet against a Manning here. I'm not going to bet against Texas in a season where they really do need to win a national championship. I think it's national title or bust this year for Sark.
Great breakdown. It's going to be an epic. I don't see there's any way this game isn't awesome, right? Even if Arch is just average and Julian Sayin is average, somehow I just think the way these two teams are meeting in the time of where they are with their rosters coming off the years they had, I just think the game is going to be great either way. We're chatting with Tanner Kern, DraftKings Sportsbook and Forbes contributor at @TannerKern_ on X. You have another college football play, and Miami's going to host Notre Dame, and this rivalry is going way back. Catholics versus the convicts, and this one's down there in South Beach where there is, by the way, there is zero collegiate atmosphere at Hard Rock, and there's probably going to be a lot of Notre Dame fans. I am a Miami fan. I think they're flying a little bit under the radar this year. Right now in the market, Notre Dame's laying 2.5, working in a new quarterback in CJ Carr. The total's 49.5. Which direction are you going to go in this game?
I love Miami in this game. Now, Notre Dame's returning 7 defensive starters, which gives them a great chance to win, but they have to face Carson Beck, and I think Beck's flying under the radar. Last season, at this point, he was expected to be one of the top quarterbacks taken in the NFL draft. Obviously, a lot changes in college football in a year, but I'm just a believer in this quarterback. I think if you watch Carson Beck play in that Georgia versus Georgia Tech game last year, you have no reason not to believe in him. He's fantastic, and I think Miami's going to be able to move the ball on offense, but this game will be decided with their defense, and that's an area where they struggled last season. You got to look at the portal. What they did in that area was fantastic. Jacoby Thomas coming in from Tennessee at safety, Keontae Scott from Houston at corner. Defensively, specifically in the secondary, they are going to get better because of what they did in the transfer portal. And then you got Mohamed Torrey from Rutgers, who will start at linebacker. I really like what they got on defense right now, and I think that's flying under the radar. People don't know how good they have the potential to be, and they could show that in this game. Then you have CJ Carr, a quarterback for Notre Dame, who's never thrown a pass in college. He's really got a lot of potential there, but when you look at just what he's done, he hasn't done anything, so it's hard to put trust in him here. If Notre Dame comes out and runs the ball, I think they're going to be okay, but at the same time, too, when you don't have a veteran quarterback like Carson Beck on your side, it's going to be hard to go on the road and win a football game. So if Miami is improved on defense, like we are seeing some reports based on what they've done so far in training camp, I think they're going to be fine this game and find a way to ultimately pull it off at home.
Tanner Kern's with us on the Progressive Guest Line. You know him from DraftKings, Forbes.com, at @TannerKern_ on X. All right, one more college football play from Tanner here, and you are going to lay the wood. Florida opens up with LIU, which is crazy to me as someone who grew up in New York, that LIU has a college football team, and it's Division I. That is a wild number. The number you got is 45.5. I actually don't have that game on my board right now. Tell me about it, because I saw the team picture for LIU, and I thought of the movie Necessary Roughness, where they have to play Iron Man football, where guys are playing both sides. I think there was 28 guys in the team picture for LIU. It reminded me of the Fighting Armadillos and Necessary Roughness. How'd you come to lay in the wood here?
Yeah, this is a team picture game for me. That's the bottom line. I saw this one going around Twitter. I was looking for a spread on this one earlier in the week. I wasn't able to find it. Now, just got it tonight at 45.5. And I highly recommend that you go take a look at this one as well. Long Island comes from the NEC, which is one of the worst conferences in FCS football, and they aren't expected to win the conference either. So that means if you're not one of the best teams in the worst conference, you're probably going to struggle down south here. The Gators have high expectations here. My one fear about laying this many points is the fact that Florida doesn't have to play starters in this game, but their backups should be able to win the game by 46 plus points. DJ Lagway is going to play, and I expect him to be in for at least a half. That's going to be huge. He didn't partake in spring ball, has been there for training camp, and I think they're going to let him go a little bit to get some reps before they get into the tough part of their schedule in a no pressure environment against a team like Long Island. And then the Gators backups Harrison Bailey, who's played at Tennessee now, UNLV, Louisville, and comes to Florida here. Played in 19 games, thrown 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in his college career. I think he's going to be just fine and lead plenty of scoring drives. I could easily see this game being 52-0. It could be 52-3. No matter how you break it down, I just don't see Long Island scoring probably 14 points, and that's the number I think they need to ultimately cover here. So gladly take the Gators and lay the points.